Serious questions tonight about whether the Russians are using Rudy Giuliani to interfere in the U.S. presidential election. CNN senior national security correspondent Alex Marquardt is joining us. Alex, there are fears that what Giuliani is now pushing here in the United States could actually be part of Russia's latest and very massive disinformation campaign in the U.S. presidential election.
Massive indeed, Wolf. We do know that it's a very active Russian campaign. That's according to the U.S. intelligence community, and that Rudy Giuliani already had open contact with a person that the U.S. has called an agent for the Kremlin. Now, we are being told by two people who've been briefed on what the FBI is doing, that they're looking into whether these unverified emails about Hunter Biden that were published earlier this week by the New York Post about his business dealings in Ukraine and China are part of this bigger Russian disinformation effort in the 2020 election. Now, those efforts, according to the intelligence community, are to denigrate the Biden campaign and the former vice president in favor of President Trump.
Oh my God, the mainstream media eats crow once again, as Politico has essentially waken up and told us that the Hunter Biden emails are real, right? They've confirmed via independent source that the authenticity of these emails is legit, which is the same exact thing that people on the right, we've been saying since this whole story came out, that it was real and legit, right? We had Tony Bobolinsky, right? Hunter Biden's business partner, come out and basically confirm the story. But the mainstream media ignored it at the time because it was right before the election, because they hate Trump, right? That's why they wanted Trump to lose. So you had outlets like NPR, right, that came out here and was like, we're not going to really cover this story because it's not a real story, right? You had CNN, obviously I just showed you, saying it's a textbook Russian disinformation, right? Russian disinformation. Which was just a flat out lie and a conspiracy theory, right? I wonder why CNN has not been censored, right? Why has CNN not been censored? Because they're pushing a lot of false, fake news out there. A lot of conspiracy theories that I think might be harmful. Why are they not been censored? Twitter, we all know, censored the New York Post for a story that turns out to be legit. And it's only legit because the left-wing media outlet, Politico, confirmed that it's legit. You see what's going on here, guys? This is why mainstream media, especially left-wing mainstream media, has no credibility whatsoever. They have no credibility whatsoever. They've essentially set up a system where only they can confirm their own stories and narrative. Okay, so if a news story comes out and they don't confirm that it's true, or if they say it's false, then it's false. It's false until they make it true, regardless of what the actual truth is. Okay, instead of actually investigating and coming to what the truth is, no, they don't do that. If it goes against the narrative that they want, it's just false. It's not true. Until a year later, where they come out and say, well, you know, that story we told y'all was false and was Russian disinformation, is actually legit. And nobody's fired over this. Nobody faces any type of punishment. And they're treated as trustworthy news, the arbiters of truth. It blows my mind because of stuff like this. They didn't do their due diligence at the time. They immediately dismissed it, even though we had evidence, right? Simply because they hate Trump. That's all it was. And then you got people up here talking about, well, why does Hunter Biden's emails matter? Why it matter? Well, because he said in there 10% for the big guy, right? If you actually paid attention to the story, you'll understand why. 10% for the big guy. You know who the big guy might be? It might be Joe Biden, right? Which means that our president, right, could be doing shady business deals with foreign countries, foreign adversaries like China, right, which could affect our foreign policy, which could be a national security issue. But the mainstream media said, no, we're going to ignore it. And independent media people like me, right, and other people on YouTube that were talking about this, that was looking into this, was like, oh, no, this sounds legit. But we're ignored. We're conspiracy theorists, right? We get punished, right? The mainstream media, they get rewarded, right? Because they're supposed to be the arbiters of truth, right? You see how this stuff works, guys? This is why alternative media is so important. Alternative media might be the most important source of information of our time, simply because of a counter narrative. Not because everything that comes from alternative media is true, but simply because we need a counter narrative. There has to be a counter narrative, because we've seen outright how mainstream media will just flat out lie. Okay, but I done basically gave my commentary on this story before I even can read to you guys what's actually going on. So let's get into this. This is from the National Review, which is probably my second favorite website outside of Wall Street Journal that I don't use enough. But two crucial emails included among the material reportedly taken from Hunter Biden's laptop last year are genuine, according to new evidence presented in the book The Bidens by Politico reporter Ben Schretringer. A 2015 email from Ukrainian businessman Vadim Posharsky thanking Hunter Biden for giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together is genuine, according to a person described in Politico playbook as having independent access to Hunter's emails. Posharsky was an advisor to Burisma Holdings, the Ukrainian national gas company on whose board Hunter Biden sat while his father was vice president. All right, guys, so ain't that funny how this works, right? How this guy from Politico is like, hey, I had independent access to Hunter Biden's emails, right? Independent access. And because he had independent access, I can confirm that it's legit. But the fact that we saw these emails, along with the fact that y'all remember Biden was coming out here and basically threatening to withhold federal loans from the Ukrainian government if they didn't fire a prosecutor that was investigating Burisma Holdings, the same company that Hunter Biden's on the board of, right? And by the way, Hunter Biden has no experience in oil and gas whatsoever. What is he advising them on? Nobody asked any real questions. It was just accepted as legit. And what Biden said in regards to his threat to withhold federal taxpayer dollars from a country simply in what seemed to be an attempt to exert political influence. Oh, no. Don't worry about it. They ain't got nothing to do with anything. Okay? Not legit. Right? When we have emails and evidence that suggests that, I don't know, man, Hunter Biden might be in a pay-to-play situation in regards to this whole, Burisma thing, which to me is obvious. It's obvious. Again, what expertise does Hunter Biden have in this arena? He doesn't. He has none. But he's on a board for a company getting paid an extraordinary amount of money? Doesn't make sense. Okay? This is the same dude that is now a emerging artist, right? Keep that in mind. From oil titan to emerging artist. The liberal media eats that up as a legitimate narrative, okay? A second email from 2017 that reportedly outlines a deal between the Biden family and a now defunct Chinese energy company is also real, the person said. That email, sent by Biden business partner James Gillard, includes the line 10 held by H for the big guy, which Tony Bobulinski, Hunter Biden's former business partner and recipient on the email, said referred to Hunter holding a 10% stake in a deal for Joe Biden. Yeah, Tony Bobulinski. Y'all remember that guy? The same guy that did a bombshell interview with Tucker Carlson, right, to expose his whole situation. The mainstream media ignored that guy. Right? They never even acknowledged his existence. But they went out here and told you, oh no, it's Russian disinformation. Was Tony Bobulinski a Russian asset? Right? They didn't push that narrative. 10% held for the big guy. What does that mean? Tony Bobulinski is saying, hey, that's Joe Biden. Right? Now, he didn't have any direct evidence of, Joe Biden's name being on anything. But at the very least, his story supported the idea that Joe Biden at the very least knew or was heavily around Hunter Biden's sketchy business dealings abroad, and that Joe Biden could have been getting kickbacks. Like Tony Bobulinski said, plausible deniability. That's what he said in the interview, right? But see, you would know this if you actually paid attention to the story. A lot of people on the left never even paid attention to it, never took it serious because the left-wing media told them not to. This is why it's dangerous to just listen to mainstream media outlets without doing your own research, without questioning. Questioning is important. This is why freedom of speech is so important. Because of things like this, right? We have a situation in which the current sitting president, guys, could potentially have some financial ties to a foreign adversary like China through his son. That's a legitimate question. But the mainstream media treats it as if it's a conspiracy, and it's not, right? It's a conspiracy until one of their guys says it's not, right? Or to after the election is over, right? A year later. Both emails were first reported by the New York Post, which purportedly recovered them from a laptop that Hunter left at a repair shop in Delaware and never retrieved. Again, bonehead move. Stupid, right? Schrodinger's source remember viewing both emails, but was not able to compare the text leaked to the Post with original emails. Other emails from the leaked file match a cache of emails released by a Swedish government agency to people who communicated with Hunter Biden said. Okay, wait, so this guy, I guarantee you this guy knew. I guarantee you he knew a year ago when this first came out. I guarantee you. But he let it slide. So this guy don't get any credit to me because in my mind, he's just as guilty as the mainstream liberal media because he probably knew that it was legit. Now imagine what would have happened, guys, if Politico would have came out and when this first happened and said, you know, guys, this is actually legit. Mainstream media would have lost their minds, right? That dude would have had to go into hiding. He would have had to go into hiding. No doubt in my mind. President Biden has insisted that he was never involved in his son's business dealings. Okay, yeah, sure. Citing its hack materials policy, Twitter censored the damning New York Post article that exposed the emails in the run-up to the 2020 presidential election, blocking users from tweeting out a link to the story and from direct messaging it to other users. The Federal Elections Commission recently ruled that the censorship was not politically motivated and therefore did not qualify as an illegal in-kind contribution to the Biden campaign. Yeah, sure it's not politically motivated. Sure, right? Let's consider this. Twitter, under their hack materials policy, so we're going to censor some information that might be damning to Joe Biden right before the election. But when it came to the Melania Trump tapes, right, in a recorded conversation that I'm pretty sure she didn't want recorded, that was leaked on the internet, right, directly on Twitter. Oh, no, that doesn't count as hack materials. That's free game, right? Because, oh, that's something that can make Trump look bad. So, therefore, we're cool with that. That doesn't apply to hack materials. Some information that comes from Hunter Biden's laptop is hacked, but not a leaked conversation that Melania Trump probably did not get permission to be leaked that was put on the internet. But you're trying to tell me it's not politically motivated. By the way, was anybody at Twitter fired or punished for censoring that article? No. No, nobody was punished for it. Jack Dorsey just said, I'm sorry. Right after the fact, I'm sorry. Again, these are the same people, the mainstream liberal media that is trying to tell us that Hunter Biden is an emerging artist. He's Picasso, okay? He's somebody with a lot of talent, extraordinary amount of talent, a very well-rounded individual. Nothing sketchy going on with him trying to sell his kindergarten art for $500,000. Nothing sketchy about that whatsoever. Don't worry about it. Turn the other way. Completely and totally ethical. That's what the mainstream media is telling us. And this is why they're a joke. But, you know, everybody on the right, you know, people like me and you, people that watch the channel, whatever, we all knew what was up with these emails. We all knew it was legit. And it's just, you know, funny, but at the same time, really, really scary and sad that a year later, the mainstream media confirmed something that we already knew after not looking into it, not actually investigating, and then also claiming it's Russian disinformation with no evidence whatsoever to dismiss the story right before the election. Again, just for a year later to come out and say, oh, no, that was true. Again, this is the times that we're living in, guys, which is why alternative media is so important. So important. And why censorship is so bad as well, too. It's this type of stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.